Hello my YouTube friends, and what do we have here this morning? It's a Honda Hornet 2006 model, 600cc, and a bit of a story behind this. This exact bike, this very same one, is the one, well, it's the first big bike I ever rode. So basically, before I passed my test, before I took any lessons, basically, I just wanted to get a feel of a big bike because, it wouldn't feel intimidating the first day I turned up and just jumped straight onto a 650 or something like that. So I thought, I got to find somebody who owns one and is happy to lend it to me. And I drove up and down the lanes and in non-public areas, just practicing all my emergency stops and figures of eights, etc. So when I turned up to the place to learn, what would you call it? Not examination, the bike lessons or whatever, I felt confident to jump straight on the bike and go on it. So it's a trip down memory lane, and I'm gonna, a bit, not really a review or really, just a bit of a comparison between this bike and really this bike that I own now is the one that preceded it then. So I can make a bit of a comparison, and first comparison straight away when I jumped on it is how much taller my bike is. I think this is pretty standard. I don't think it's been lowered or anything, but I was surprised at how low it is, and there's a massive difference. So for a shorter rider, this would definitely be preferable, but I know a lot of this takes its DNA from was it the Fireblade or CBR or something like that, 600, so perhaps it's got that low stance on it, and but we'll make a quick video about it and take you on that journey. Right folks, let's not waste any time. I've just noticed how much charge I got on this camera, on the GoPro here, and let's lift the visor up, get some air in here, it's better, and let's just crack on. Right, first thing I keep noticing, I just can't get over the difference in height, massive difference. So definitely for your shorter rider, this bike is better, definitely. And just looking at them side by side, the right hand side of the engine really sticks out quite a lot on the Hornet here compared to this one here. Seems really nicely sort of tucked away, so the design has changed there. They've managed to compress things, even though this is a 650 and this is a 600. So let's quickly jump on and take this baby for a spin. Here's something youngsters won't notice down here. We got a choke, so it's a carbureted bike, and I say youngsters, a lot of modern riders won't recognise that. So we're going to put a bit of choke to start her up, and there's something else some people won't notice, dials, they're the things that were in your dad's car that showed you how fast you're going. So let's fire her up, see how she sounds. Gosh, this is a good old trip down memory lane. I remember being a bit anxious first getting on this. Bit of throttle perhaps. Ooh, lovely. Right, there we go. So she's ticking over quite quickly now. She got the choke on, and got crash bars as well. That'll be, hopefully won't need to use those. Definitely won't need to use those. Famous last words. Just sort out the old mirrors there. Gosh, feels very, very different. Completely, just getting on the edge just feels, they're like chalk and cheese, to be honest. There's no comparison to the CB650. Right, I'm going to turn this choke down a bit. Just drop those revs. There we go. Perhaps as we get going then I'll turn them right down. Right, let's get going. I'm gonna go as quickly as I can, not literally, just get this video done because I'm worried about running out of battery. And gets into gear nicely. Let's just familiarise myself. Is that full beam? What are we on? Lights. Oh, right. I can't see any difference. That's got to be dips down. Yeah, that's right. Okay. There we go. Rightio, here we go. Gosh, it does feel very different. I'll see that reflection there. I can see my lights. Oh yeah, I can see the difference there. There we go. Right, look left, look right. I want to cross the road. Here we go. Oh, she pulls along lovely. Let's turn that choke right down. I think it's ready. Right. I don't know if it's better. It's not necessarily better or worse, just completely different to what I'm used to. I said I'll turn the choke down. I actually put it back on then. Got it in the wrong direction. There we go. And the engine sound is completely different as well. It's a much more, how shall I put it, a rawer sound, you know. It's a, I think it's what bikers yearn for, to be honest. I think it's the carburetors and everything. You can hear a bit of the air induction, and it's a what's the word I'm thinking of? It's a more authentic feel, I'd say, perhaps. You know, so it's got a bit of things have been dumbed down a bit, I think, with modern bikes now. Oh, got a traffic jam that way. Perhaps I'll go the other way. Oh, she sounds nice. And apparently this is 100 bhp, which is a little bit more than my bike, even though it's a smaller engine. Oh right, oh blinking heck. Let's squeeze past here. Right, avoid this traffic. Oh, is everyone doing the same thing? Right, watch me guys. Ooh, some angry drivers about. What is going on? I've chosen the worst possible time to go out. There's been some sort of incident somewhere. Right, what else can I see the difference? Like I say, the ride position is very different as well, actually. I think I'm a bit more sort of a bit of a steeper angle on my knees and things. And I notice is, I don't know if they're more advanced or not, but these days if you've got upside down forks to your suspension, that's usually a sign of a slightly more advanced system, where you got upside down forks. More on higher tuned bikes. Stay there please, thank you. Right, I'll be interested to see how it picks up. Actually, I'm going to drop it down a cog. Nice little bit of a straight here. Check my mirrors. Very nice, very nice. It is very, very different to my bike. I would say this is more my bike is more responsive, and I think that's because of fuel injection, but this picks up in a different kind of way. It's more of a sort of a good push. and it's got lovely sound, I gotta be honest. Whereas I think mine would be more instant. You would this is smoother, I'd say, just the way the power feeds in. It's very nice. Right, it felt very odd when I set off, but now I'm going, it's like any bike really. After 5-10 minutes it feels quite natural. Yeah, you very quickly adapt. So it's just the initial changing from one to the other. But like I said, this was the first bike I ever rode. I keep saying that, it's the first big bike I ever rode. So something above 125 is what I say is a big bike. So this definitely meets that category. And oh yes, get that above sort of 7,000 RPM. Oh, she really comes alive then. Beautiful. We'll see how nice Porsche 911 coming there. Just had new brakes and felt a bit spongy then. What's this Volvo doing? Past the cyclist. Oh, very nice bike indeed. It does actually, I'm scraping 6 foot, I'd say. Yeah, I'd say I'm 6 foot, and it feels a little bit small. It's a lovely bike, a lovely car. Just feels a little bit cramped on there. Two lovely bikes there. Some Kawasaki ZX1000s, I think. We've got his and hers by the looks of it. But let's see. We'll take it up the mountain here and see how she goes. I'll do a nice little circle, one of my lovely little test routes. So, like I say, I'm not a reviewer because I haven't been riding bikes long enough. But it's just a feel from one bike to another. So far on my channel, I think you've seen the CB125, the CB650. This is the CB600. And you've seen the Pan-European 1300 ST. So for a novel motorcyclist, I'm riding a fair few bikes and experiencing different techniques and different... Oh yes, and I nearly forgot, I've also ridden which I did on my channel, the CB1000R, which I really loved, I gotta be honest. Definitely on my shopping list. I really enjoyed that bike. I'm going to hang back from these cars a bit so we can just open her up as we go up this hill and see how she feels. Tickle that throttle. She's on brand new tyres as well, so I'm a bit wary of that. So just taking my time. I got to drop it down a couple cogs. Oh, she really comes alive once the revs kick in. You've got to really pick up those revs and you really feel it then. It's not till about sort of 6,500 RPM. It sort of gives you a nice little shove then. Lovely. Just looking at the mileage on this bike, 12,384. That's a 2006 model. I've done that on my bike and it's a 2018 model. So a very low mileage bike this is. So and I was trying to figure out the big difference, sort of engine characteristic between this bike and my bike. I think my bike picks up a bit quicker in the low RPM, but once you get to about, like I said, 6,500 RPM, it really seems to come alive. And I think it's more geared for the higher revs perhaps, you know. And it's a shame we got this such slow traffic here. I dawdling along at 24 miles an hour at the minute. At mustn't grumble, safe. But yeah, no, I feel really confident on here. It's all coming back to me now, and very enjoyable. Gear changes are nice, you know, and yet I keep trying to remind myself, you know, 2006, so that's what's that, 13 years old. That's quite an old bike, but everything works and functions really nicely. I notice we still haven't got a gear indicator on here. Very weird thing Honda seem to miss out. But to be honest guys, I wouldn't, without one you very quickly adapt. Oh yeah, brakes feel a little spongy there, but I'll take that as newness, I think. Oh god, this is painfully slow. I thought we'd be able to open it up. Right, while we're dawdling along in this 20-mile-an-hour zone, I'll just give you a little summarise of what I think of the bike. And I'm sort of making a direct comparison with the CB650F, seeing as this is its predecessor. And they're not the same bike, they're very different, the characteristics on how they ride and things like that. This is, you can see it's a different era, you know, you can see where the engines come from. And this one really comes alive when you get the revs, you know. It's sort of showing redlining at 15,000, you know, which is obviously a much higher revving, you know. You wouldn't actually, it sort of starts redlining from 13,000 onwards, but you can see that sort of a race orientated engine, you know, where it comes from. And so you, just like anything else, like a car or anything else, you just got to try them and see which ones you prefer. And definitely go for this one if you're slightly vertically challenged. This is suit a shorter rider, definitely more than the CB650F. And they're both really nice to ride, I gotta be honest, you know. I can't tell that much difference. So perhaps when I get home we'll just have another little look around them and see the difference, you know. Still getting used to these mirrors, but they are very good actually. They sort of you know, they sort of show their age a bit, you know, the design as such. But generally, you know, it's a really nice bike, and can't fault it. Typical Honda, everything works as it should, you know, so what more do you want? So yeah, it's a lovely bike, I gotta be honest. And I think the carburetors on a bike, they do give a bike a little bit more character, I think, you know, in the engine. So you do get that raw engine feel a bit more, you know. So let's see, we're just about to join the dual carriageway here, so we can open her up a bit. And she really does go, actually, I gotta be honest. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And let's hope she stops as well as she goes, because we've got some red lights there. One last thing I'd say on a modern bike, you do notice the brakes have come along, actually, because I noticed this hasn't got ABS, and you know, a few of the other mod cons that come with modern bikes these days, like traction control and things like that, but it still rides absolutely superb, really, you've got to be honest. Right, let me summarize what I think about this bike. I'm going to sort of contradict myself. Very different and very similar. You can tell this is its cousin, definitely. You know, it's got certain characteristics, but they do behave differently, and it just depends what riding style you're after. I would say this one sort of tips into the corner a little bit better, perhaps because you're sort of more sort of tucked into it, and you know that sort of slightly smaller frame, and you know, maybe it's got that little bit of racing heritage still in there. But the big minus, well, not a big minus, but I notice suspension's quite a bit stiffer on that, which, you know, unless you're really pushing it, you're going to prefer the softer suspension. So, you know, minuses and pluses, just like everything in life, depends what type of riding. And my bike, I would say, you're definitely a lot more upright, and the engine characteristics are very different, actually. I think this one's a lot more responsive low down in the revs. That one kicks in once you really build in the power, so it needs that initial grad build up and then gives you the oomph, as I think this one's a bit more instant, I would say. And I think I said earlier on in the video, you do notice brakes have come on a little bit, so, but you adapt very quickly, to be honest, on your riding style, and you take it as it is. So both good bikes in different ways, you know, so minuses and pluses, but perhaps one thing you can help me out with in the comments, which is really important to a lot of motorcyclists, and well, even important to non-motorcyclists, is how do they sound? So they're both warmed up. Let's give them a sound check. We'll start off with the CB650. Let's fire her up. So blip that throttle a couple times and see what it sounds like. That's a CB, and then let's try our Hornet 600. Wants a little bit of throttle on the startup. She's got the exhaust there on the back, tucked away. I'm just checking the temperature, she's nice and warm. I'd say definitely higher revving. Just one last try there. So put in the comments which sounds better, CB650 or CBF 600, or better known Hornet. Right, until my next video, I hope you've enjoyed this one, just a quick comparison, and catch you soon in my next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.